Sound Mind and Body is supported by My Body Tutor. Lose weight, look great, and get the confidence you deserve with your own weight loss coach that will help you stick to your weight loss plan by providing daily and personal accountability like no other service in the world. For $50 off your first month, mention Sound Mind and Body when calling 516-456-6248 or by visiting mybodytutor.com. Sound Mind and Body is also brought to you in part by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/inbound.
Hello and welcome to Sound Mind and Body, a podcast where we interview inspiring people about the many different ways to stay healthy, balanced, and well of mind, body, and spirit in today's crazy world with a dash of woo-woo. I am beyond excited today with our guest. His name is Matt Belair. He is living a life dedicated to acquiring the skills and knowledge to help others on their paths to greatness. He has a level of expertise attained by few. He's a one-of-a-kind author, speaker, and a conscious thought leader and podcast host who believes in potential. His own, yours, everyone's. With experience in fields ranging from mental fortitude, Zen, the pursuit of inner peace and positive living, martial arts, marketing, snowboarding, and travel to neuro-linguistic programming, meditation, sports psychology, life coaching, and conscious living, he is equipped to support you in whatever you aspire to achieve. So welcome to my podcast, Matt Belair.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to be here.
And let's tell everybody, okay, so you normally do these incredibly long podcasts. You release at least 2 or 3 a week, but today you're recording from a library.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm traveling, visiting a friend in Utah, and they don't have the internet. So I was like, they have a library really close, and they're like, yeah, you can record in there. It's a beautiful small town. So I got to be a little bit quiet, but it's cool. It's like a nice little room. So this is a first, and for my podcast, thankfully, I can do it on the road, and I just need a quiet space to talk to these amazing people about stuff that matters. So, I just bring my mic with me, and, I've been traveling the world and exploring the planet for a long time. So now I just do it with a microphone and, hook up where I can.
I love this. This is so exciting. So when you normally start your podcasts, which I love, and, I listen to them because I drive a lot in LA, so I have a lot of time to listen to these. When you start your podcast, you start it with kind of a meditation or like a visualization, a little like, let's take a moment. Would you do that for us today?
Yeah, I'd love to. And the reason why I do that is I'm always reminding the listeners that you control your conscious state, and you can come into whatever state you want. And so before we get into the podcast, I just invite them to get into a state of peace and coherence really quickly, because all it is 3 deep breaths. Now, after I've done so many, I get a little bit carried away and sometimes make it a guided meditation. But I would love to do that. So basically it's on the principle that you can come into a state of peace and coherence with 3 deep breaths, just 3 conscious breaths, and you're totally peaceful and coherent. And so let's do that now. And then I've been adding a little bit of something else. So okay. Wherever you are in the world, wherever you're listening to this, you control your own mind, you control your own body. So set the intention right now to come to the present moment, powerful peace and presence. So take in a deep breath in through your nose, holding the intention, holding the breath to come to powerful peace and presence. Let that breath out slowly with all the cares, all the worries, all the thoughts of the day, just coming to peace and presence just for now. Take in another deep breath in through your nose, holding that breath. And now just make the firm commitment to be loving and kind to yourself. Just this internal commitment to be loving and kind to yourself, and let that breath out slowly now. Taking in another deep breath in through your nose, and really just doubling that commitment to be loving and kind to yourself to be your number one supporter, to make sure that everything you say in your mind is loving and encouraging, and you're kind and forgiving and thoughtful to yourself. And just let that breath out slowly with all the cares, all the self-criticisms, all the doubts. Now take in one more deep breath in through your nose. And I want you to just send out loving, positive energy to everybody you've ever met, your friends, your family, your coworkers, everybody on the planet. Just see that energy, all the best wishes. And I'm sending you that energy now, all of my love and support. And now just see all that energy from all the beings you touched on the planet come into the center of your heart, just amplifying, receiving that energy, just allowing it in, all the love and support of all the beings on the planet. Know you are connected to all things and all life. There you go.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Matt.
My pleasure.
I love it. I love it. So I discovered your podcast because I was searching for my own podcast when we first released in iTunes, and mine is Sound Mind and Body, and yours is Master Mind, Body, and Spirit.
Congratulations. Woo. Podcast. Do more. Way to go. It's a lot of work. You're doing it.
Well, thank you so much. You're like the master podcaster here. You've been doing this for when? Since 2013, it looks like?
Yeah, I think it's like 3 years now. It's like, it's a thing now. Like when I started it, it's funny because it's like become a thing. I only had 2 friends that I could talk to about really deep stuff. And I was like, guys, like people think we're weird. We should just record these. Like that was our thought. And it's funny when you read the bio, it was written by my best friend. And I was like, dude, I don't know how to talk about myself. Like, I don't know what to say. I was like, can you please write a bio for me? And so when you're reading that, it's like, yeah, just remembering when my friend wrote that for me. I was like, thanks, man. Shout out Joel Hayho. He's the man. But that was it. That was the only intention. And now podcasting is a thing. And I didn't have any idea of like what it was, what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. It's just like, I just like have a microphone and it's like the sound, I can hear the sounds like not so great. And people are like, how do you do it? I was like, literally, man, like Zoom software, you just record the conversation and I put it on these 2 platforms and it gets sent out. That's all I know. That's all I know to do.
Well, it's just, I mean, I was just blown away because I'm a woo-woo person. In my podcast, I kind of, as I said, dip my toes in the woo-woo waters, but you go so deep. It's like I've been somebody throughout my life who has read these books and kind of understand, or, my mind is open to these concepts that you're talking to these incredible people around the world. And so for me, this was like, wow, this is all this stuff that I've kind of been absorbing throughout my whole life. And you're having these conversations. So for my listeners, if you're interested in going deep and going intergalactic, as Matt says, check out his podcast for sure. Like, let's talk about some of the topics that give me an example of who you talked to this week.
Oh yeah. Well, who are my last guests? These ones weren't as crazy. Actually, you know what? I just released one with David Lombear Senepas, who is the native elder of the Mi'kmaq Nation. His lineage is 20,000 years old. I spent time with him in Maine, and he is for real. He spent the first 26 years of his life on a mountain being taught by 600 different beings.
What?
Beings, humans. Really? I don't know. Yeah. And I was in his home and had stuff and looked in my own eyes and did that. And for me, I go so I wanted to be enlightened. I've been into this my whole life. I want to be enlightened. I go to the people. It's like, so who's the most enlightened on the planet? It's Tibetan monks, I think. Right. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to Tibet and I'm meditating with monks. I'm going to check it out. So I checked it out and I did it. And then I was like, okay, who are the best? I love martial arts. I've been a martial artist my whole life. And that's how this happened. This is like mind, body, spirit. That's what martial arts is. So I've been going in and meditating. So, like even the word woo woo, which I like, it's also like, it's just a practice of going inwards. That's all it is. And what happens is weird stuff happens. But when people are like, oh man, that's totally crazy. I'm like, is it? I was like, can you quiet your mind for 10 seconds? Can you do that? And now you
Right.
want to tell me what's up? I've set months of time in meditation in the forest. Have you ever done that? Do you know what that does to you? And you can do this. And if your mind, it goes and you're just thinking about the 5 to 10 thoughts, which are probably worries, which are probably stressing you out. If you can't stop that mind, you can't access all of this information. And every single one of those books is telling you the same freaking thing, but nobody's doing anything about it. So I go get it. And like, I'm like, if I look at somebody, I can usually tell if they're telling me the truth. Then I put myself in that space. So the Shaolin monks, they can break stone with two fingers. They can break thicker pieces over their heads. And I saw it. And, and then I asked the guy, I was like, okay, what's the trick, right? He's like, no trick. And there's a translator. And they'd only opened up when I was there for the last 10 years for Westerners. And I was like, come on, what's the trick? She translates again. He's like, no trick. And then so I say it again and he understands what I'm saying. And he gets, I think, maybe a bit annoyed and just starts slamming his fingers down on the desk really hard and just says years. And he tells me it's like 8 years of hard qigong where you just poke a tree with your fingers and you punch it. And I had to do this when I was trying. I was punching a tree, I was kicking it.
Oh my God.
And then he goes, years of qigong. So he puts the energy, that's soft, that's energy work, that's essentially meditation and intention into the fingers and into the head. And that's it. That was it.
Wow.
That's the whole secret. Years of dedication. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, right. You can do anything. What if you if you want to dedicate 8 years of your life to something ridiculous like brick and stone, they're just showing you what's possible. So what if you dedicated to your ideal life, your business, what your passion is? Mm-hmm. And so when I study law of attraction, things like that, it's like, okay, cool. That's all great. We're going to do peak performance. We're going to do law of attraction. We can get intergalactic. We can, we can do DMT breathing and activate like a different state of consciousness, all fine and dandy. What the heck do you want? And people can't tell me. And so get so laser focused on a vision that you want, that you wouldn't change for anything, no amount of money, no external circumstance. This is the direction you're going. I'm going northeast, 328 degrees latitude, whatever. And then life continues to happen around that. And if we can get to that space and apply these principles, now you're living a fulfilled life and you know that you're aligned.
Wow. But yeah, I get it. It's like, you're right. How many people, like you said, say, when was the last time you were silent for 10 minutes? Or can you even be silent for 10 minutes? I just started, I've been meditating for like 8 years now, but just this year, I was able to focus on meditating every day, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes, that's it. But it took me 3 months of doing that every day to get to the point where I no longer needed the guided meditation. And I could just meditate with like a timer, just with my own thoughts. And that was a big eye-opening thing for me about just how long it takes to kind of get out of that vibe where we're spinning every day, So did you start this, you were in martial arts or sports or extreme sports, or how did you, because you have a book called Zen Athlete. When did you realize that you wanted to pursue more of the mind-body path?
I think I was born like this. My dad was a martial artist and, I'd watch all these movies, but I was just really interested in what I was capable of and what humans were capable of. And in learning martial arts, it is the development of mind, body, spirit. It's not about if I can go out there and kick your ass, which I probably can do, but less.
That's it. You're the real deal. You are the real deal. I mean, if you see Matt's website, mattbelair.com, you're going to see he's in like unbelievable shape too.
Thanks. Yeah. No, but that's not the point, right? The point is like you master yourself. And in snowboarding, there's no limit. I went into snowboarding, skateboarding, martial arts. It's all the same. There's no way that you're like, oh, you have just mastered martial arts. You can quit now. It's like, no, this is about the integration, understanding your body, understanding your mind, like to break that stone, the mental commitment you need to break that stone over your head, the stuff that I've done, like the commitment. And then it went into skateboarding, and I always loved sport. So I would just take what I knew from martial arts into these sports. And then, and I was researching this stuff when I was a teen. I was just always like meditation, lucid dreaming, astral projection, consciousness, neuro-linguistic programming, anything that was around consciousness. I was just like, this is amazing. I'm down. And nobody gave a crap. And I was just like, you're not interested in like how your brain works and
Yeah.
how you think. And so then I got, how this also started was, I was interested in why we still had war. And so I started to look at hypnosis, mass hypnosis, persuasion, conspiracy theory, and all that stuff. And I realized if you want to get all conspiracy theory out the window, kings and queens still exist, and the world is controlled by money. So the world is not on your side. You need to figure out what is going on. You don't need to stay there, but you need to realize if you eat McDonald's every day and you just do, and you watch the news and that's your information,
right?
Maybe people have an agenda. So you have to take that mental sovereignty back. We're basically waking up. And this is the state of a person. I say this all the time on the podcast. People wake up, the brain turns on, and then they go, and they're stressed all day, and they're just doing tasks, and they're doing tasks. And then all of a sudden the day ends and they throw on some TV and they grab some food, they go to bed. And then they're just like, you're talking about some crazy stuff. I was like, bro, that is not natural living. That is that is modern day slavery. Now, how do you overcome that? That's a slow process that you have to basically figure out, but you're a powerful interdimensional cosmic being, like you understand how amazing your body is. Like, do you understand? Like, you got 0 to 5, you tell a kid you can do anything. 5 to 10, you're like, no, you can still do anything. 10 to 15, you kind of figure things out. And then, to 20, and then 20 to 30, you go to university and you think you know something. You don't know shit. I'm 34 and I've been studying my whole life. I don't know a dang thing.
Right. The more you know you don't know. That's what I kind of realized in my life.
I said that on my podcast, and one of my really good friends, he started listening, and he's listened to every episode. And as our conversations developed, I watched how his brain changed. So I now challenge people. I was like, I don't care what you do. Listen to any 10 of my episodes, and I swear you will not think the same. You can't, because you just can't. And if you just allow another perspective, everybody's saying the same thing from a different perspective. But I said that to my buddy, and he's just like, the first time you said that, I was like, I don't know, that doesn't make any sense. How do you know more and then you know less? And then a couple of months later, he's just like, I get it now.
Right. You just have to you got to kind of immerse yourself in this. It's about becoming aware of your potential, becoming aware of, what the possibilities are. And what I've found lately is just by starting this podcast, which is something that really excites me and it's really fun. And, living in your excitement is what we're supposed to be doing, right? We're supposed to be living in this energy of like excitement. And I'm a very open-minded person, so I can listen to your podcast and be like, whoa, I might not get it all, but I just kind of listen. It is true. There's a lot of people, they just think, well, it's just nuts. You're nuts,
Totally nuts.
But you have a lot of people on there too. Like there was a guy, I was listening to one recently who's a guy that had worked with, the military and remote viewing and all that kind of stuff too. I mean, there's people who have worked with the military and worked with elite athletes and elite people like that. But we're going to take a break really quick. And then when we come back, I want you to talk about your coaching and how you do that.
Sure. Sounds good.
Hey, it's Tim Edwards with the Inbound Podcasting Network and producer of Sound, Mind, and Body. Just the fact that you're listening to the Sound, Mind, and Body podcast tells us that you enjoy consuming your content through your ears. Now, if you're a podcast listener, you're a perfect fit to enjoy audiobooks. So for you, our listeners and official members of Sheila's Woo-Woo community, Audible is offering you a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial to check out their awesome service. Give it a shot. You've got nothing to lose. It's absolutely free for 30 days, and you get a free audiobook to keep even if you don't continue with the subscription. Support Sound, Mind, and Body by visiting audibletrial.com/inbound. That's audibletrial.com/inbound. We'll include a link in the show notes, or just click the Audible banner at soundmindbodypodcast.com.
Hey everyone, Sheila here to tell you about a very special offer from My Body Tutor, a weight loss program that is 100% guaranteed. Yes, you heard that right, 100% guaranteed. I interviewed Adam Gilbert, founder of My Body Tutor, on episode 19. And I was so impressed with this program that I asked Adam how we could work together. And he is now offering our listeners $50 off the first month. Plus, he offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you really have nothing to lose except some of that stubborn weight. And you know you want to lose those few pounds, right? I certainly did. I signed up, and after 1 week, I lost 2 pounds. I'm so excited. So try it. Go to mybodytutor.com and sign up. Tell them Sound Mind and Body referred you, and you will immediately be credited $50. Or go to the show notes on this podcast, and the link will be there. And it's also on my website, soundmindbodypodcast.com. Let me know if you're signing up. We'll do this together. mybodytutor.com. On the next episode of Sound Mind and Body, I welcome back Dr. Cheryl Selman, naturopathic doctor, psychotherapist, journalist, international lecturer, and the author of many books, including Hormone Heresy.
What happens when women arrive in their 50s? They arrive in their 50s exhausted or toxic. You know, many of us emotionally drained. You know, we don't have time to address all the things that bring us into balance. We don't have time to meditate. We don't have time to exercise. We're running between parents and kids, you know. I mean, look at that time of our life. We're under immense strain. So we are approaching a time in our life where our body is beginning to change because we're in a life cycle. And when you get into your 50s, there are definite energetic changes, biochemical changes that are occurring. If you do not have the knowledge and the wisdom and the discipline to honor the needs of your body at that stage of life, your body will let you know.
That's next week on Sound Mind and Body. Okay, we're back, and we are talking to Matt Belair of the Mastermind Body and Spirit podcast. He's also an author and a coach. So, Matt, when we took the break, we were talking about one of your guests that you had just interviewed that I'd listened to, Dr. Joel Levy. Is that his name?
Dr. Joel Levy. Yeah, he's a boss, man. He has been in the game for a long time. I think you were talking about before, like he trained military. He came up with this mindfulness training like the elite forces of the world, trained with like all the notable gurus of the planet. So yeah, he's incredible. And, you know, with the podcast, like the guests that I'm getting, I hold the intention, and this is all we can really control. I hold the intention to interview the most wise, conscious, embodied masters, benevolent, embodied beings of service to humanity, and share their wisdom and stories. And I seek those people, and I'm a good bullshit detector. So even though it might seem woo-woo, I've done enough stuff that has blown my mind that cracks dimensions, and I'm in it and I've experienced it directly. So I can tell if you're just talking smack or you've done it. It's like, no, I actually went here and I spent 4 years doing this. Oh, that's how you do that. Oh, how do you break stone? That's bull crap. Oh yeah. Well, have you ever poked a tree for 8 years and then done qigong every day? Maybe you don't know what you're talking about. That's how we did it. It's simple, but like, who does that? Right.
Right. But you've done it. You went and experienced all these things.
Yeah, exactly. So with the guests, you know, like that's all I can do. And so, you know, the topics, like some of them are woo-woo, but I've got like enlightened prosperity. You know, I've got things that are like on Zen. I've got, I had the guy who wrote, Proof of Heaven, the Mindful Universe, Scientific Evidence for God in the Heart of Consciousness. I'm blanking on his name, but he wrote Proof of Heaven and Map of Heaven. And so all these people are saying the same thing. So all these people are like, some of them are PhDs, doctors, you know, authors, but people are actually doing it, and it all comes back to the same root. So, and then it does get pretty intense, because guess what? If you don't believe in aliens, you're going to have to, because it's happening. And I don't care what you think. I've seen stuff directly, and I know things. And now it's not like, it's like back in the day when you're like a native on like the land and a ship comes in and you're like, what the heck? Well, if you know anything about the universe and how big it is, we're just not the most advanced here. And it's just like, you understand ocean life exists, you know, but you know, just look at a little bit of history. Look at Sumeria. Look, I was in Egypt in the Great Pyramid with advanced technology behind my head, and a crystal is on my third eye with a group of people oming and doing like these gestures. Like I am getting it with literally ranked some of the smartest people on the planet with the Resonance Science Foundation, Nassim Haramein, astrophysicists. None of them, I've watched these conversations, none of them debate whether aliens exist.
Really?
They know it, and they are way smarter than you, I promise. And all of their books are like thousands of pages. And I'm like, okay, guys, just give me the basics. I got it. Just give me what do I do? And there's like, well, it's like they have technology. And then if that's hard for you to think about 200 years from now. Think about 50 mother effing years from now if we work to friggin' together. Just think about that.
Right.
I always hashtag Team Earth, Team China, Team Canada, Team USA, Team Finland, teams, Scandinavia. How amazing and smart we are right now with the technology right now. If you know anything about that, 50 years of collaboration. We are cracking quantum drives. We are cracking space travel. We are cracking time. This is all in our grasp now. And I'm not saying this. I'm asking the smartest people I know, that are working on stuff that'll blow your mind. They're saying it and they all know it. It's like if you talk to me about snowboarding and you see all these other people, I know that. I don't know what they're talking about, but they know, right? So that's some out there stuff I know, but I've seen stuff, so I'll leave it at that.
I believe you, because one of the most woo-woo things I did was years ago, and I did a trance channeling session, right? And it was like my spirit guide talking through this person. And, I was there. It was authentic. It was real. It was this feeling that I've never had before. And, I know that it was a message that was given. And I know that these messages happen, that these, channeling and there's other beings in the universe, and it's all the same energy, though. I do believe that too. But that's why I'm trying to kind of introduce these topics on my podcast about just living a better life and trying to apply these things a little practically in your life which, meditation is one of those ways, just to kind of calm down and start opening your mind a little bit, just become aware. So tell me, you do coaching too. So not just for athletes, but you did write a book called Zen Athlete, but you also do coaching. Like if I wanted to use you as a coach, right? As a business coach or just a life coach.
Yeah, 100%. So Zen Athlete, this is the thing with Zen Athlete. It's a guide to self-mastery. You do not need to be an athlete. You can say Zen business. You can say Zen life. The reason why I did Zen Athlete is because when I talk to an adult, I got to un-F their minds. I've got to just erase so much freaking programming. It's a whole pain in the ass. So it's like, it's like, oh my God. It's just like, okay, this is this memory. Is this from you? Of course. Is that true? No, that's not true. How interesting. Right. So it's just like,
right.
Now the goal with it, Zen Athlete is, and this is, I hold intention. So it's like the podcast. That's all I can do. I can hold an intention and I can know what that is and I can walk the path. So Zen Athlete is to popularize the mental game of athletics, to make it normal that in all schools and youth organizations, the mental game is taught to kids. So really quick, you're teaching a kid a basketball shot. This is as core as I can get it. You teach them to, okay, little Johnny, take 3 deep breaths. You clear your mind. Somebody who can clear their mind and somebody who cannot is a fundamental difference in conscious awareness and 90% of adults cannot even do that. So then you have no control of your mind, you have no control of your thoughts, and you're being led. Essentially, people's agendas are leading you. 2, visualize the shot going in. You create your reality. He knows that. Step 3, you miss the shot. What's the most powerful and positive perspective you can have in that situation? You don't always control the outcome, but you can control how you react to the outcome. These are 3 absolutely essential fundamental shifts in consciousness. And Zen Athlete is just a compilation of all the best sports psychology, personal development, law of attraction, woo-woo stuff that you can do in the most simple form. And even when people talk to me, I've been on podcasts where I go down the rabbit hole and talk about the crazy stuff that I've experienced. It couldn't get more basic about know who you are and just what do you love to do? Who are you? What would you do if you had $1 million every single day? Connecting to spirit in your own way, which is basically being kind and compassionate to yourself and to others. Do acts of kindness and ask right down. That's how you connect with spirit. And then that's how, you grow from that situation. So Zen Athlete and the coaching like that, it's like, it's very, very simple, but mostly I work with people who are committed to transformation. It's like, you want to level up in your life, we can do that. If you have a CEO and you have a whole, I'd happily go into Amazon. People are doing flow state with one experience I've had in my life. And I was like, yo, it couldn't be any more simple.
What do you mean flow state?
Like, flow is like a flow and biohacking and stuff like that, things like, oh, go earth. I'm like, okay, you mean go outside, forest bathing, it's becoming like these stupid popular things, which I like in one sense, but the other sense, it's so practical. We're just not doing it. We're so disconnected from what's natural, so helping people get into their natural state. So mostly I actually, because for whatever reason, I get mostly women on the podcast, are women listeners. That's my demographic.
Because we're more open.
You're more open. Yeah. And I'm just like,
we're more intuitive, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, with Zen Athlete, I had to finish that thought. It's like, it's to bring the philosophy of martial arts into all sports. So using sport as a catalyst to develop mind, body, and spirit, because you learn these simple things about internal dialogue. Quiet your mind. What are you saying to yourself? This is how you create your reality. If you have a business and you read my book, like one of my athletes, he's a freestyle motocross guy, and he fell on a front flip. He said, hey man, I heard you're good. I fell on a front flip. I want to land it in some other variations. I said, great. An hour phone call. His mindset was good. I was like, dude, you don't have to read my book. You don't have to do anything. Just visualize on the thing that you want every single day for a week. And then you'll know you can land it. Go land it. 3 weeks later, he lands a front flip on a motorcycle. He's the fourth guy or fifth guy in the world to do that. 3 weeks after that, he lands the world's first front flip heel clicker on a motorcycle. So you click your heels as you're front flipping. 3 weeks after that, he lands the world's first front flip Superman on a motorcycle without practicing it one time.
What?
So these principles are not complicated. Just nobody's doing them. It's kind of like, you want strong legs, go do squats. You know how many people are doing squats? Nobody. And so that's the idea. And so, it's the best. And it's just a list of that. And if you teach the kids, they can do anything. I don't care what the outcome is. Break stone, do a front flip Superman on a motorcycle where you can literally die. You take that necessity of mental game into your daily life of creating an ideal life you're fulfilled with. And that's a lot of the work that I do. Is like, just to get something to that's going to make you excited, and you're not going to change that vision. Now you get to live. You get to live. You can do it. It's so good. And now people aren't living, man.
I know. And it's like, I guess I can use those techniques to, buy a new car if I want. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to do a front flip on a bike, but it makes it sound like, okay, let's just get this mind in our potential. Like I said in introducing you, the potential. Everyone has a potential.
And it's a lifetime. We're here to learn how to be creator beings. It's not a week process. It's a lifetime process. What could you build over a lifetime? And it's not about building the one thing like in martial arts or whatever. It's not, you get to this level and then it's all done. I can't master skateboarding. It's just never ending. So what vision for you is like, you're stoked and like, I did that over 40 years. There's a story of this guy in like Iran or one of those poor countries or whatever. He spent I can't remember the amount of years. It's something stupid, like 30, 40, 50, 60 years building a road between two cities in like a, crazy location. It's on the internet and it's pretty big the way I'm explaining it. But he spent 60 years to change those two cultures and divide them and change the lives of everyone. That's what that guy did with his life. 60 years
his
to
life.
end idea. So what if it's a bit
future?
What if you did it with painting? What lights you up? Nobody's thinking like that. And what happens is we get into a stress loop and we get into other people's agendas because it's all about money, and money is modern form of slavery. But when you start to walk the path and figure this out, you realize that there's a higher form, a spiritual form, something that you can't shake a stick at, but you have to have the courage. And that's where faith comes in. And when I tell people how I've done what I've done, it's like always with like no money. I don't know what I'm doing, but I always show up no matter what. And I watch how the universe works and I'm like, oh my God. And that's why everyone, when I see another like master, and I don't want to think that I'm like anything special, the one thing that I can say that I'm different is I don't compromise, and I jump in all the time. I don't compromise, and I commit, and I have faith, and I'm like, I'll show up. I know this is coming from me. I'm going to show up. And that's how I see magic happen. And I'm like, oh my God, like that's universe, that's spirit, that's source, that's God. And the more you do it, it just becomes comical. You're just like, okay.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm like,
it's inspiring. So let's get to know you a little bit more, Matt. So, obviously you're doing this in your life every day, but what are some ways that you stay of sound mind and body in your life?
3 acts of kindness a day, which is just 3 acts of kindness. You can hold the door open, you can pay it forward, you can let somebody in traffic, you can get somebody's name. That's the most important thing you can do, is the actual actions of kindness. Beyond all the woo-woo crazy stuff, be kind to your community, be present. That's one. Skateboarding. I love it. Do something you love, be happy. That's spirituality, happiness, kindness, compassion. So that's 2 things. I could go on. Meditation.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's all great. I love it. So what's a favorite sound of yours?
Sound. Any sound from Burning Man.
Oh, he's a Burning Man guy. Good.
Yep.
So on that note, what's a favorite memory of yours?
A lot of great snowboard memories. Actually, Mount Everest was a good one. I almost died trekking Mount Everest. That was a cool one. Yeah.
That's not a cool memory.
That was, it's cool now, but it was
What
intense.
do you mean you almost died?
Yeah, that's a whole long story. I actually just put a couple of videos of it, and I wrote if you go to mattbelair.com/Everest, I almost died. I got caught in a record-breaking snowstorm. Long story short, I heard my own when this was happening. So it ended up, I found out this after, it ended up being a record-breaking snowstorm. And I was doing all this sports psychology stuff. My body was so wet from snow, and I was hiking through knee and waist deep a few days out of Everest. So it was at huge altitude, basically doing beyond CrossFit workout. So you're not even getting enough oxygen to the lungs as it is.
Yeah.
And I'm freezing cold and I'm sweating. And so my body starts shutting down, and I hear my voice, but not my choice. It's like a separate entity outside of myself because I started to rest on rocks and stuff and like just try to get my breath and things like that. And it's cold and whatever. And it goes, "It's okay, Matt, just go to sleep." And I was like, what? I was like, oh shit.
Oh my God. It's like, just go to sleep.
It was my voice. It was so trippy. And as soon as that happened, I was like, uh-oh.
I know. Uh-oh. Oh my God.
And then when I finished that section of the hike, when I get to the top, because it was a really steep pitch and I still had like a couple hours to go after that. But after that voice happened, I powered up, and it was Everest Graveyard.
Wow. I need to read that. I'm going to check that out. Yeah. Whoa, that is crazy. All right. So what's a favorite place then? A favorite place?
Oh man, the world is magnificent. The favorite place is where you are right now. There's magic all around. And that sounds corny as crap. But the thing is, people are not paying attention. It's not about going in. I can go intergalactic with all of them. And I don't care if you think I have done lucid dreaming, no problem. Ayahuasca, altered states of consciousness. I can do all that. Now, the point of doing that is realizing you are in the most magical freaking place. You're just not treating it that way. You've got all these box stores and bullshit around you making you think it's not magic. Go hug the bloody tree. Go talk to a kid. Go play in the water. This is the place you want to be. You're just not treating it that way. Go look at the grass for 10 minutes. We think we have to do all these things. This is not true. This is part of like the conditioning. So that's why you got to, you're in an advanced problem that you need to solve. You are not a free being. You are spiritually. You are 100% free, but you're in a system that you are allowing yourself. Do you want to go to work for 40 hours a week? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying if you would rather be anywhere else, you're not completely free. So figure out what you would do no matter what. And I'm as close to that as I could be for many years, that I'm doing the things that I would do anywhere. I'd love to go on vacation 1 week out of the year. I'm like, that is, when people started going to college, my buddies, I was like, that's fucked up. You're signing for that? You want to work 50 weeks and you're making an agreement. You're going to work 50 and you get 2 off? Are you insane? 5 weeks, 5 days out of the week, you get 2 off. Like, are you nuts? Like, are you nuts? F no, like all of the swear words, and then no. Solve something. Now we're in that, and I understand it's a problem that you can solve, and it's not solved overnight. But think about what you're inspired to do. You're gonna solve it, whether if it takes you 20 years. But if you don't try and solve it, guess what? It's gonna keep going because they got you.
Right. You just live in this.
Anything outside of you, free sovereign being. Yeah. Wow.
Love that answer. Oh my God, I love this. Okay. Final question for you. I don't know. This will probably require a whole other podcast, but what's the most woo-woo thing you've ever done, Matt?
The woo-woo actually comes as the external as a result of your commitment to like an idea, but like of the path. But one of the things I did, I spent 4 months in koala habitat, reading, writing, and meditating. So that was pretty amazing.
Where in Australia? In
Australia, a place called between Mullumbimby, like a really, really quiet spot. And I've had the most woo-woo experience. I recently posted on my YouTube, and I call it like a multi-dimensional enlightenment experience. And that's an experience that's outside of you. So as far as woo-woo goes, if you listen to that story, it is the gnarliest thing that's ever happened to me. I asked for it, and something happened that I cannot explain. And I've had other things like that too. Also, of all the people that I've met, check out facebook.com/star teachings. David Lombear Senepass. I've done 3 podcasts with him. He's been with the Dalai Lama. His lineage is out there. It goes into basically the Native Americans, not all of them, but he's a native elder. I know the native elder of the Mi'kmaq Nation, and I know the native elder of the Zuni Nation. They both tell me the star people of the star nations. What you humans need is peace. Inner peace, and it's a spiritual vibration. It's a triangle: happiness, kindness, compassion. Do the acts of kindness, 1 or 2 or 3 a day. Do them, and you're in a higher vibration. I could go into. I have hours of stuff like it when I was with. It's the most mind blowing, nuts thing. But the application, he always told me, as crazy a question I could ask him. He said, "Go do acts of kindness." If you're an advanced species trying to help this species, what's the point of advanced technology when you're murdering each other? What's the point if you're not saying hello to your neighbor? But what happens is when you start doing these things, you get a reflection. And I've had that reflection. And my mom was getting it too, which is amazing because she both had a couple that I can't go into next at the time, but she just looks at me and I was like, right. I was like, this is the world I live in. I'm like, I'm trying to explain this to people. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
I'm glad you saw it too. She's like, what the heck?
Oh my gosh.
You got to do them, but it's over time. You don't get just like, hey, I'm 300 pounds and I want to, be fit and like, great. That's going to be a process, bro. You know what I mean? Here's a pop a pill and I wish.
Yeah. Right.
The lifetime process, and just be easy. And number one thing, man, just be easy, kind, and compassionate to yourself. And that's what I do. Be your number one cheerleader. Figure out who you are. Be so supportive of yourself. We are such dickheads to ourselves.
That is so true. Somebody, or actually, it was on another podcast, but I heard the way that somebody put this was, imagine all the things that you're hearing in your mind. And imagine that person, there's a separate person standing right next to you saying those things to you. And if you did, you'd be like, who the hell are you? Get away from me, right? Get away from me. I'm not going to be around you anymore. And if you think of it like that, all those terrible thoughts that we have in our head as a separate person saying it to you, no. So, oh my gosh, Matt, this has been amazing. I could, we could go on for hours, I'm sure. You have so much to offer. Are you going to be speaking anywhere or in any kind of, events coming up soon? Or?
Well, I am open to the idea of doing events. So if you have an event coming up, let me know. Also, what I've been starting to is you have like a book club or a Zoom, like call me. You can ask me any single question you want. We could do a group of people. I'm here to serve. I'm figuring out new systems. I'm getting a huge intake, but I'm not like logistical or business minded, but I got to go places. I'm going to see David Lombear again because that guy is official. Check out those podcasts. He like the stuff he says and what I'm witnessing. I got to go get in it. I can't be concerned with how to like make money and be like a business guy and do it. Like, screw that noise. I am right. And then I'm going to go and tell like, yo guys, like check this out. So that's, I don't know. That's
what you'll be. You'll be all around.
Yeah.
But
so if you have cool stuff, let me know. Hit me up. I'm so stoked to be there.
Yeah. I just hit you up and you just responded and you're on my podcast and I'm so excited to meet you. And if people can just go to your website, mattbelair.com, and they can, do the coaching, get your book, check out Patreon and support your podcast and all those things. And I just want to say, I hope we meet in person someday. Maybe we will. And I will reach out to you again. Maybe you can come back on the podcast, when we have some more time, like maybe later this year. I'm trying to plan a 1-year event, a 1-year anniversary of our podcast. So maybe you'll come to LA and be in that. be with us for that.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah. And massive congrats on the show. Like, do do the kindness, and like the book, Zen Athlete, you don't have to read it, but it's the best that I know is Zen life, of how to be it's yin yang, how to be fulfilled and like literally do things people can't do and just apply, like apparently they can't do. I'm like, well, this is the simple technique. Teach it to kids. If you're a coach, if whatever, I'll gift as many ebooks, anything that I have, any kids, there's meditation. I don't care. Just hit me up. Teach the friggin' kids. You're too gone, man. If you don't believe, if you don't believe me, I don't care.
Just teach the kids.
The kids are like, this is magic. I'm like, I know. No, I'm just kidding. Like, I'll help you too if you want the help. But if you're, in the podcast, I say, listen to any 10 episodes. I swear.
Just listen to 10 and you'll be like, your mind will be opened.
They're long. They're long podcasts. I get it. Listen to any 10. If you feel like I've wasted your time, I will literally PayPal you $100. I'll find it. I'll give you $100. You say you suck. You know what I mean? Your podcasts are terrible. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Here's $100 for wasting your time. It will change the way you think and do 3 acts of kindness a day for a week. And if you want to connect to spirit, if you want to get to this spiritual force, you need to just take 5 minutes a day. You got to learn how to clear your mind. Just 5 minutes a day. That's it. Just sit down. Your mind's going to go nuts. Just learn how to clear your mind. Write down what you want, your spirit guides or whatever. You have to write it down and you have to say it because you're a closed system. They can't look in. So if you need guidance, ask for guidance. If you need, just write it down, start journaling. Those simple keys. If you do this in 10 podcasts, because it's not me saying it's other people, just 5 minutes a day of meditation. You don't know what you're doing. That's fine. Nobody does. Just sit down and shut up. That's it. Listen to music.
Yes.
Right? Over time, you're going to start to un-F your brain. It takes a little bit. Write down for what you want. Do 3 acts of kindness a day. Go out of your way to do it. Stop. Turn the car around. I know you're busy. And I've started to do that and give a couple bucks to a homeless person. Talk to your homeless. And you want to know a crazy thing? And I could go into a gnarly story about it. David told me, he's like, a lot of your homeless are visitors. He's like, if people were coming of the planet, where do you think they would go? On TV telling you they're here, or would they be looking to see who of you is compassionate? And I have direct experiences of that with my mom. That's not like they look like an alien from Star Wars, but they say really interesting stuff. And when you're in your own reality and you're getting you're in a feedback loop. I don't know what your life is like, but I know what mine's like. And, when I go to the gym and do squats, my legs get stronger. When I do these acts of kindness and I talk to a homeless person and they're saying crazy stuff that David told me that was that, and it's matching together.
It's starting to connect.
Yep. And that's it. Go volunteer a bit of your time, but you're in the action of kindness and happiness. And happiness, that's the big thing. We just throw happiness aside. Kindness, happiness, compassion. So you try those things for a week, a month, you'll see it. It'll happen because there's no other way. It's vibrational and it'll match. I
love it. Matt, I am so grateful to you for being on this podcast and taking your time for your kindness. This was your big act of kindness today.
Thank you. Well, it was my pleasure. It's fun. See, I'm in the life of fun. I get to show up now.
Yeah. And you are fun. Yeah. Want to hang out.
That's it, man. Have fun. Be nice to people. It's this game. There's a great Alan Watts quote. Talks about, it's like when you realize you're going to die, life either becomes serious or a game. Like, play the game, enjoy it. You can stress your ass off for like a week or like a month or like 20 years if you want to, if you want to, or you could like dance. And you can know that it's going to be okay. One of my buddies, he's not spiritual at all. His name's Tyler Fort. I love you, bro. He's hilarious. Sometimes I get stressed out with stuff. He'll be like going on a vacation, like about to get a flight, forget the passports, and he'll just be like, "Oh, forgot the passport," and he'll giggle and he'll go home and get them and solve the problem. Just doesn't stress out.
Right.
Hilarious. I'll forget to keep like, the keys. I'm like, wait, Matt, just chill out. It's okay to mess up. I'm not perfect. I'm flawed. I do stupid things, but I don't stay there. So, his perspective always teaches me, because I'm like, I'd be pissed off that he's like, whoops, forgot this. Got to drive 4 hours back to go get the thing that I forgot. And I'm just like, what? I
love it though. You're living in that moment.
That choice, right? That's a choice. That's a choice.
Well, thank you so much, Matt. I'm so sorry that we have to sign off because I want to keep talking, but we're going to have you back. I'll reach out to you in a couple months. Maybe you can come back and tell us about some of your journeys. Oh, it's on, man. I am in it. It is on right now. You can follow on the podcast if you want, but it's a privilege being here. Whoever's listening to you, all of my love, respect, gratitude. Tim, Sheila, thank you for having me on. I just wish everybody nothing but the best and a joyous experience, and it's been an honor to be here. Well, that's it for this episode. And wow, that was really interesting. Thank you, Matt Belair, for taking us to an intergalactic woo-woo place today. And what are the 3 acts of kindness you are doing every day? Let us know. I just think that's a wonderful thing to think about. Let us know what you're doing, the 3 acts of kindness. Send us a voice memo or an email to soundmindbodypodcast@gmail.com. And thanks for listening. And please subscribe if you haven't already. If you like the podcast, give us a review on iTunes. It really helps new listeners find us. And thank you to our producer, Tim Edwards, and the Inbound Podcasting Network. Thank you so much to our guest today, Matt Belair. Get in touch. I'm on Instagram at Sound Mind Body Podcast, or find us on the web or on Facebook. Search for Sound Mind Body Podcast. I'm Sheila Melody. Join us next week as we explore, enlighten, and evolve.